The UK is introducing sweeping changes to packaging and recycling. Recycling rules will be standardised across England, making it clearer what can and can't be recycled. Already, packaging producers must cover the entire cost of managing their packaging waste, a move aimed at driving more sustainable design. Stuart Smith filed this report for CNA from London.
Recyclable or not recyclable? That is the question. For decades, the answer has depended on geography as much as what the product is made of. Each of England's hundreds of local authorities set their own rules. Move house and you have to learn a whole new system. But very soon it'll be the same across the nation. And that's expected to help boost recycling rates, which have flatlined at 45% since 2015, closer to the national target of 65%.
Success is driven by what we call the 590s. So we need 90% of people doing 90% of the right thing 90% of the time. That's all behaviour. That's about knowing what to do, what bin to put it in, to clean it, etc. Then here we need about 90% of the materials that come in here to get out the other end, so only 10% in contamination. And then at the reprocessor side, where they make this into new products, we need about 90% of the material that goes into them to make. If you do all of that, you're at about 65% of the material being recycled.
Making packaging more recyclable in the first place should massively help, which is why producers now have to pay a fee under the UK's Extended Producer Responsibility, or EPR scheme, if they use packaging that is more difficult to collect or recycle.
The EPR base fee is essentially the true and the real cost to collect and recycle packaging. And then building on that, companies are given an incentive or a bonus, which means essentially a reduced fee for packaging which is really easy to recycle, and they're given a penalty fee for packaging is hard to recycle.
Which has meant the people who make the packaging have been tasked by producers to come up with new ideas, such as using different materials or reducing weight.
An easy way to reduce the amount of weight that this type of packaging is being put onto the market is to replace it with a simple lightweight lidding film. So getting rid of the lid entirely, reducing the weight quite significantly.
Right, but I guess you've now got a problem here where this is two different materials. They're both plastic, but one is going to be dealt with in a very different way than the other.
That's right. So what we've got here is a plastic PET tray, which is very recyclable, and we have a lidding film which is not recyclable. But KM Packaging has actually developed lidding films which are recyclable and can work in exactly the same way.
Retailers appear to be responding as hoped. The British Retail Consortium found 4 in 5 have reduced the volume of their packaging, and 85% are now using more sustainable materials, but they're not absorbing the full cost.
We're finding that with the political and fiscal environment that we're operating in, the 2024 budget that we experience with higher employment costs, there really is a low amount of ability for these businesses to actually take on any extra cost. And so we are seeing that shift to consumers.
The British Retail Consortium found that about 80% of the extra cost will be passed on by retailers to consumers, a cost that's expected to add up. For Britain's largest retailers, that means an extra tens of millions of dollars every year. But if it sparks innovation, as it's already doing, the benefits for the environment could be huge, with an estimated billions of plastic packaging wrappers due to disappear from shelves. For CNA, I'm Stuart Smith in London.